right? And then he ultimately learned how to play each song, and that led up to like, face melting guitar riffs that were like widely creative and independent. Okay, and everybody's weightlifting technique ultimately will become something of their own. It's like their own creation of all these things melded together.
Right.
But first, they have to learn the notes and the chords and the rhythms. So from a coaching development standpoint, I have like 3 or 4 main positions that each coach needs to be able to recognize and get the athlete there first before they change anything else. So and if you want them, I'll give them to you. Man, I'm not shy. So
I want them.
So in the setup, the athlete needs to have their hips higher than their knees and their shoulders higher than their hips.
Okay.
The shoulder needs to be on top of or in front of the bar.
Okay.
And the weight distribution needs to be even in the foot. That's the first thing that every single coach at Lift Lab should be able to coach. Okay. And that's not complex. That is out of the USAW level 1. Right? So we're not talking like this like wildly complex thing. Mm-hmm. And if you start watching like a lot of international weightlifting, you'll find that most of these things stay true. Okay? From the floor to the knee, the shins have to get vertical, but the weight has to stay evenly distributed in the foot. The shoulder has to stay on top of or in front of the bar, ideally directly on top of the bar for me. And the hips and shoulders rise at the same rate.
Okay.
I mean, and if you can do that and you can coach that, like I feel like you can go pretty far when we're talking about developing coaching. Because to be honest, like I spend a lot of my time in gyms and other people's gyms, and no disrespect, but like a lot of times you see like real basic things being missed and passed, and the coach is just not either I'm not even sure it's knowing, enforcing what they know to be true, right? Like enforcing that, hey, there's no sense in even snatching that if you can't get it right from the floor to the knee.
Right, because it's a domino effect.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if it's off.
Mm-hmm. So, and I think that's probably unique about Lift Lab is like we'll make you really drill in these positions before you progress on.
Okay, so that was position 1 and 2, right? You said from the floor
to the knee to the hip. Yep.
Oh, okay.
Yep. And that's really all I care about. I mean, if you can,
because after that it's just
transitioning, which is easy. Yeah.
Pull and pray.
Yeah, right. Exactly. That's where you just cross your fingers and hope that it lands on the right spot. But if you pull the bar from the floor to the knee in a good position, that whole first pull is not about generating speed. It's just about being in a good position from the knee to the hip and into the power position. That's where all your speed occurs. Okay, so if you have that knocked down and nailed out, and you have some rhythm and some timing at the top of your transition, you're going to pick it up. It's going to be fast. Then from there, we're going to see a little bit as to where your mistake occurs as you start this transition, and then go from there.
Yeah, I know that you're working with me with that, and I'm wildly inconsistent with my start position. Pressure on my feet, everything. And I really, there's times where I hit a snatch, I'm like, damn, that felt really good. That felt really good. And I think back, and it's like, it was all right off the floor.
Right.
It's never, from my knees to my hips or whatever. It's like, and sometimes I'll purposely go slow right off that, slow,
Yeah. Be in a good spot.
Yeah,
sure.
Okay. Well, how do you set expectations for your coaches and your athletes? We'll start with the athletes, and then we'll move to the coaches. I just kind of want to hear, is that kind of athlete independent? They come to you, or you kind of
expectations
tell them
in what?
Where they want to take the sport.
Okay.
So if you have a new athlete, yeah.
So the expectations one for the athletes is really simple. The expectations that I set that I'm real adamant about is put your equipment up when you're done. You scrub all the chalk off the bars, and the weights go back in a rack exactly the way that you found them. But
Kenny will kill somebody if there's chalk. If there's
exactly.
a little bit of chalk, we have an assistant coach, right?
Yep,
Assistant coach.
Yep.
And if there's any chalk left on that bar when it's put up on the barbell rack or the gun rack, whatever you want to call that thing, he'll scream. I've heard him scream. He's a large man.
So when we're talking about expectations for athletes, that's the only thing I really ever want demand, and it's just a general respect for the facility, and that every dime that I have is in the gym, so I'd like to see them be taken care of. But the expectations from the athlete's performance is I can't put any expectation on them that's not their own. Like, their goals are their goals. I'm here to help them with their goals, and I don't ever want to lose track of that. Like, I think the second you try to force somebody to have a goal or hit a certain performance or whatever, then you start setting yourself up for negative relationships, deteriorating relationships. Again, this goes back to having meaningful work and meaningful relationships. I think it's a real problem if you tell somebody what their goal needs to be. Now, don't get that confused if somebody's like, hey, I need to make a world team. Like, okay, well, here's how much you need a total, right? That's like feedback working towards that goal. But I really like it to be about their journey and their training and what they want to do with themselves. Because as an athlete, and being a former athlete, and actually I still am an athlete, but I want to feel like I'm in control of where my path is going, right? Because at the end of the day, you're gonna be the one standing on the platform by yourself. You're gonna be the one doing the work when it comes to
the weight.
Exactly. So it needs to be your goal. And if somebody's like, hey, I just want to compete at the local level, great. I don't necessarily want to push them beyond that. That's not what makes them feel fulfilled. Okay. If somebody just wants to train in the gym every day, I like to do snatches and clean and jerks because it makes me feel good, and they never want to compete, great. Somebody wants to be an Olympian, cool. Like, it's all the same for me. It's just an acknowledgement of their goal, and then do the best I can to help them with that specific goal.
So you just kind of plan outline their journey to get there.
Absolutely. So the way I look at it is they're saying, all right, I have this goal. I'm relying on you, Dan, as quote unquote an expert, to put me on the path to get me to the goal.
Gotcha.
Right? And so, okay, here's the things I think we should do. And that even goes with programming. Like, I'll sit down with athletes and say, here's what I think we should do. What do you think? Because if they, especially if they've been training for a long time, right, they can tell you things that they feel make them better, more prepared, or something like that.
And I remember you saying one time, some athlete had said something obscure, like, I feel like, I don't know, belt squat 14s make me feel great.
Yeah,
and you're
right.
like, great, we'll put it in.
Right.
Like, it's not going to harm them.
Right.
And lifting is so much
Yep.
your mentality.
Yep.
So if you feel like belt squat 14s
Yep.
are going to help you, you're just going to put it in there.
Right. Exactly.
And then how do you set expectations for your coaches, your coaching staff?
That's something that keeps getting more stringent as we go, because they're learning more and more and more. So it's kind of like their blessing is their curse. The better they get, the more I expect out of them.
Right. For
holding standards, for practicing what we preach and preaching what we practice, right? They can't have the excuse anymore if I don't know, because we've taken the time to get them up to speed. And when I say hold standards, I'm talking about this very thing. Like, they know if they see an athlete going from the floor to the knee in a bad position, I don't care what that program says, it's time to fix that problem.
Right now.
Yeah. And so if I walk into a gym and I see them doing stuff or saying stuff that doesn't align with our values and beliefs as coaches, then I'm going to step in right away. And I had an entire month where I wasn't at the downtown gym. It was probably around May. It was because we were trying to get this one open. And I walked in there, and the first thing I heard was a coach using a cue that I can't stand. It was like cringe.
Was it heels? Was it jump?
It might have had.
What is it?
It
reach?
Yeah, it was just something that didn't sit well with me, and I didn't flame that coach or anything like that. I'm not going to put him on blast in front of clients. I simply just say, hey, why'd you say that? That's not what we do. And there was a justification and a rationale for it, but the point about it is nobody was fired. It's nothing like that. But it's
we never saw that guy
they
again.
know that hey, this guy is paying attention to what's going on. There is a standard. That standard needs to be held.
Right. Because you don't want everybody on a different page.
No, absolutely not.
Right. Okay. Well, I just got some rapid fire questions, and then we'll.
Okay.
All right. Staple exercises minus snatch, clean, jerk, squat, and pull. This can be for
It's
you
just for
or
me
athletes.
personally.
Both. We'll go
Oh
athletes.
my gosh! All right,
and then
for me, I'll go me personally because you're the most important person to yourself. It's got to be incline presses, incline dumbbell press.
Just to make you look like a guru.
Behind the neck jerks, yeah.
Behind the neck jerks. Okay.
I love behind the neck jerks.
I'm so bad at behind the neck.
Yeah.
I'm like 20 kilos below what my front is.
Yeah, we got to fix that. And then for athletes, man, it's got to be it's probably still behind the neck jerks, but some sort of they're like dumbbell row.
Okay.
I got to think that's probably in like every single program. We're just trying to get like a big thick back, and then like in GHDs.
Right.
Like,
that bent over row too. My hamstrings are. I mean, you feel. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
That's your question, not mine.
Yeah.
Favorite hobby.
I got to go with 2. So we got hunting and jiu-jitsu.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not judo. I
Not
don't know
judo.
Why. What?
I mean,
I don't know why I keep thinking it's judo.
Yeah. That's all
Okay.
right.
Last movie you watched.
Oh my God. It was. I'm embarrassed to say this. So I have 2 kids. I got to preface this by saying I got 2 kids. Hoodwinked 2.
Okay.
Which is like
I
a
don't even
play
know what
on
that
Little
is.
Red Riding Hood.
Okay.
It's like a cartoon kids movie. I fell asleep. If that makes it any less emasculating.
Okay. Book recommendations. I just started reading books. So I'm
too many for me to list.
What's your top 3?
Oh my gosh! Okay,
I'll
number 1. This is my number 1 all-time favorite book. It has everything to do with everything in your life. It's a philosophy book. It has nothing to do with motorcycles. It's Zen and the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance. That's number 1. I literally read it about 7 times, and then in graduate school, I actually had a class where the book was the class. I got an A, by the way. So that one is always it's always up there.
Number 2.
Give me a genre.
Oh, any genre.
Oh my God.
I mean, we can stop there. I just have book recommendation. You just seem to.
I
seem to think that you had like 10 that you couldn't.
I'll tell you what I really like.
One.
This is I do have like 30. I like the Dichotomy of Leadership, which is the new Jocko Willenick book. I like it a little bit better than Extreme Ownership. That was the first one. That's like if you're in like an active living, breathing business. I think that it's pretty good. I really liked a book called Stealing Fire. It's about flow states, optimal performances. Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk's autobiographies are both insane. Again, those are probably both on the business realm. Yeah.
Okay.
There's a lot. I'm
going to check those out.
Yeah.
Maybe not the business one. I don't know the business, but I'll check out the other ones. And then pineapple on pizza.
It should be illegal.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Yep.
Well, then what's your favorite pizza topping?
Definitely meat. It's a toss-up between sausage and pepperoni. I probably go sausage because it's a little more filling than pepperoni. I usually like to throw in some black olives.
I like black olives on pizza. And then, real quick, we got about a minute and a half left. Plugs anywhere that we can find you. Locations of Lift Lab.
I like if you're in Indianapolis, we have Lift Lab in Westfield. We have one in downtown Indianapolis. We also have the affiliate program at Impact Zone in West Lafayette, Indiana. Of course, you can find us on, just search Lift Lab on Instagram and Facebook. My private ones are not worth anybody following. It's just pictures of my kids. But yeah, thank you for having me. I appreciate it. It's always good to talk about.
I really
and stuff.
appreciate you getting on here with me.
Yeah.
So,
Thank you.
All right. See you guys.